Well, it's really nice to be here with Father Wilson and Chuck Wilson. I'm Matt Palmer, and as board president, what a joy for me to chat with you two a little bit about the ministry and our history as a ministry. Father Wilson, maybe we could start with you. You once shared with me that this ministry really comes out of something that can go all the way back to Vatican II. Tell us a little bit about that and what happened in those years.
Matt, I think it's important as the men have come to the conference to understand we're part of something really big, right? We go back to the early 1960s and the Second Vatican Council and the universal call to holiness, which was one of the great and important teachings of that council, and as well an emphasis on the laity and an affirmation that the laity have a true and a significant mission in the life of the church and in the life of the world. And so after the council, we know it was a turbulent time in world history and became a turbulent time in church history. And in those years, those difficult, maybe 70 decades, there were questions about, what's going to happen to the church? And unexpectedly, various movements started to arise, lay-led oftentimes, helping to renew the church and the world. And I see our Catholic men's ministry as part of a larger work of the Holy Spirit, renewing the church and renewing the face of the earth.
That's so exciting. Chuck, as I think about you and the years that began this ministry and you and other men that were involved, what was going on in society at that time? What do you remember the culture was like that needed this kind of new outpouring of the Holy Spirit to sort of bring about this particular apostolate? What do you remember about those years?
We understood through Father Wilson there was a men's conference over at Franciscan, and this is about 1994. And we would go over for 3 years in a row for the men's conference, Friday through Saturday, Sunday. And through that conference, we saw men's lives being changed, conversions happening, hearts being changed, men going back to their families, different to be the father and the husband. And then we decided in 1997, in June, at that conference, that we needed to have a conference in Columbus for men to experience what we were experiencing over at Franciscan. So in November of 1997, that was our first conference, St. Bridget, Kildare, and Father Sizemore was the Mass celebrant, and 2 speakers and MC, and back then, some of us even cooked pancakes, and 125 men. But I think the Spirit was really working, that men at that point were getting confused a little bit, and I think that's what we really saw, is how do we help men experience what we did at Franciscan, and now 24 years later.